Now let's deploy our smart contracts for the exchange to a public blockchain. So right now we've been using Ganache in this bootcamp project up to this point. So here's our personal blockchain that we've been developing with. Now we want to take these smart contracts and put them actually out there on a public blockchain. So what we're going to do is put them on the Kovan test network. All right. So if you go to Etherscan, you go to kovan.etherscan.io, you can see information about the Kovan test network. All right. So this is an Ethereum network that doesn't, the Ether is not worth, it's not worth anything. So that's actually a good thing because that means we don't have to pay anything to deploy our smart contracts for the boot camp. We can do it without risking any funds, worrying about like any legality issues, deploying a cryptocurrency exchange or a currency to the real Ethereum network. We can just do it on a test network, and we know we're safe, and there's no issues. It's not going to cost us anything. We can connect to the Kovan test network with MetaMask by switching networks inside of here. And what we'll do is deploy it to the Kovan network. We'll get the address. We'll be able to see it. We'll verify the smart contract and everything in this video. So first, what we need to do is connect our Truffle project to the Kovan test network. All right. So I'm going to go to, let's see here, source. Actually, sorry, it's truffle-config. This is the file where we want to connect to the Kovan test network. We'll create a new network here called Kovan. All right. And inside of here, we'll specify a provider. So Ethereum provider is something that you're probably familiar with when we ever used Web3. So we need to connect to Kovan with an Ethereum provider. And we do that like this. We pass it a provider. But how do we get it? Well, the provider is going to come from something called Truffle HD Wallet Provider. All right. And basically, that's going to be a hierarchical deterministic wallet like we talked about whenever we did the intro to wallets section for the boot camp. Go check out that video if you haven't already. Basically, it's going to create a wallet that is generated from our private keys that we have here in Ganache, right? So we're going to take this private key and generate our wallet, okay? So I'll show you how to do that. Basically, we'll just say return new HD wallet provider, all right? And then we'll pass it the information that it needs. So what does it need? It needs a private key so that it knows which account that it can connect to the network with. And it also needs a URL to an Ethereum node. All right. So we can get both of these pieces of information. All right, our private key, we'll just get it from Ganache. So I'll just copy this. All right. And then I'll put it here. We have this .env file that we created whenever we set up our project. I'll just say private. Actually, let's do two. So we'll say private keys, plural. We're going to put multiple inside of here. So let's actually do the first two accounts from Ganache. So we'll call this a string, and we're going to separate it by commas. Okay. So we'll add another one. We'll add account number 2. All right. So the reason we're going to add 2 accounts is because we want to run our seeds on the network. And remember, the seeds allow us to trade tokens back and forth between 2 accounts. And I'll show you that in a minute. So we've already required .env here. All right. So we can read those private keys from our process global variable in node. We say const private keys equals process.env. So this is from our environment because we've required .env here. Say private keys, or we'll just do an empty string. All right. And then down here, we want to provide the private key. Private keys. We'll do multiple. Split. All right. So that basically splits the string into an array. This will be an array. Okay, it's the private keys. Now we need a URL to an Ethereum node. All right, so in the dependencies section, we set up Infura, right? So I'll just show you that. Let's say Infura. Remember, Infura is basically our Ethereum node as a service, and we signed up for this in that dependencies section. So go check out the dependencies section if you haven't already, and sign up for Infura with that video, okay? So you're going to copy your Infura API key, all right, that you had inside of there. It'll pass into our .env file like this. Say boom, Infura API key. All right, so whatever you got when you registered, do that, okay? So then we will build the URL to our Ethereum node here. All right, I'll just paste this in, boom. So this looks almost like exactly what's in your Infura account. So we'll say Kovan, make sure this is the Kovan network and not a different network. So kovan.infura.io, version 3, and then we will read out this API key here. Okay, this comes from process env just like we did private keys, which is read from our .env file. So I'll save that. We want to specify some other settings in here. We want to specify the gas amount like this, basically just say gas. All right, so this is the gas limit. And then we're going to set a gas price. Okay, it'll look like this. All right, then lastly, we want to specify the network ID, which for Kovan is 42. All right, so the main net is 1, and the other test networks also have individual IDs, but this one happens to just be 42, okay? And now we can deploy the smart contract to the Kovan network. It should be connected just fine. However, we have to pay a gas fee in order to do that. Now, here's our only problem. We don't have any Ether on the Kovan test network yet. So we need to get some. So I'm going to take my account from Ganache, my account number 1. It's important that you do your first account. Copy it like this. All right, and I'm going to go to the Kovan faucet. All right, so you need a GitHub account in order to get this. But I'm going to put this link in the video resources. So it's a chat room where a bot will basically give you some fake Ether. So I'll just paste in my address here, hit enter, and it will tell me that it's sent me 3 Ether. So I'll wait for this to finish. But while we're doing this, let me make a few more. Let me explain a little more about the test network and why we're using it. So it's really important to use a test network for a lot of reasons, right? There's less risk because when you deploy contracts to a test network, you can redeploy them and nobody cares, right? If you get a bug, it's fine. You can even run your tests against test networks, right? And part of the reason it's also important is, Ganache doesn't necessarily work exactly like the mainnet, right? There's some things that it just doesn't do the same. That's because I'm pretty sure it's a JavaScript implementation of the EVM, right? It's not a full blown Ethereum node. Everything just kind of happens in memory. So you want to see how your smart contracts behave in multiple environments. This is great for most stuff in development. You want to see how they behave on a public blockchain. So a test network's a lot better than just your development blockchain, okay? And then you finally want to see how they work on the mainnet. Also, for a test network like Kovan, you'll notice that the transaction times are considerably longer than Ganache, right? And then also even longer on the mainnet. So it'll give you an idea of how long, like making orders and filling orders actually takes on a public network like Kovan. Now, Kovan's still pretty fast compared to the main network. That's because it's a proof of authority consensus algorithm, which basically means there's a smaller subset of nodes that are validators. It's not a proof of work consensus algorithm, so it doesn't take quite as long. The block time is shorter, okay? So let's see here. All right, I have received Ether. So I can go to MetaMask and actually change networks here. Kovan. All right, see I've got 3 ETH. All right, awesome. So go back to my test network. Okay. So now let's try to actually deploy the smart contracts to the public network. I'll go here and then take a look. Let's just give it a whirl. I hope it works the first time. We're going to find out. All right, so we'll say truffle migrate dash dash network. We'll say Kovan. All right. Wait for it to work. Womp womp, we got an issue. So it doesn't know what HD wallet provider is. That's because I didn't import it yet. So I need to import it from npm like this. So I'll just say HD wallet provider equals require, this thing that we install with Node Package Manager. Truffle HD wallet provider private key. And I'm using a specific version of this because I wanted to use private keys rather than a mnemonic seed phrase. All right, so save that. Let's try it again. That was anticlimactic. Sorry, guys. Here we go. All right, looks like it's working. Okay, so there we go. Initial migrations worked. Just deploying the contracts, deploying the token. We see the blocks. All right, number of seconds. I'll pull this up so you can see it. All right, let's hope it keeps working. So basically, this is waiting for network confirmations before it continues. All right, deploy the token. We can see the transaction hash, and we can see it's deploying the exchange. Here's the transaction hash. All right, number of seconds. It's confirming. It's confirming. All right, up to 12. Boom, there we go. We've got contracts on a public blockchain. Awesome. So let's take a look. I'll show you a cool shortcut here. You can say truffle networks to see where all your smart contracts are. All right, boom, there we go. Here's our smart contracts on the Kovan test network. So here's the exchange. I'll copy it. We'll go to kovan.etherscan.io, click the address. Boom, there it goes. So here's the transaction hash where it was created. All right, awesome. Same thing for the token. Let's go here and find the token. Where'd it go? Here's the token. Copy that. Go to our site. Boom, there's a token. Here's the transaction hash where it was created. Awesome. Very cool. So now let's run the seeds. So we can run our seed script on the Kovan test network as well with the truffle test runner. We'll say truffle exec scripts seed exchange JS dash dash network and Kovan. Okay. All right. So inside of here, I will mention you probably can't run seeds too many times on the Kovan test network because you only have 3 ether. All right. And you might run out of ether really fast. And quick word of caution. I think there's a cool off period. Like you have to wait like several days or something like that if you request ether too often. So I might find a warning in here. Somebody might have tried to do it. Yeah, here you go. So this person tried to do it too many times, so he had to wait like almost 4 days. So don't bomb this chat room with too many requests. People will probably ban you if you do it too many times, but it'll certainly not allow you to do it too often. All right, so really quickly, also when we run our script, both accounts are going to need some ether. So we requested we requested some ether to our first account only, right? We just sent 3 ether to that address. Now, we have 2 users in this scenario, our first account and our second one. All right, so our first account comes from this first private key that we copied from Ganache and put in our EMB file. The second account comes from the second private key, all right? So this second account doesn't have any ether yet. So I'm going to go ahead and copy the address. I'm going to put it in MetaMask. Okay, so I'll go to here and I'll import account. All right, so I use private key and click import. All right, here's account 5 with no ether on the Kovan test network. Let's copy this address. Let's go back to account 4. All right, now I'm going to send some ether to this address. This is my new account, and I'll say just 1 ether. Okay, I'm going to change the time here. I'll say 50 gwei for a gas price. I want to make it really fast. So I'll save it, click next, click confirm. All right, now let's look at the transaction. Let's open it on Etherscan. I'll wait for this to confirm. All right, it's been confirmed. So let's go to our MetaMask account and see if the balance has changed. All right, so let's go to account number 5. And there we go. It's got 1 Ether. All right, so now we have Ether for both of our accounts, and now we're safe to run our seeds. All right, here's the final transaction. All right, so now let's run the seeds on the Kovan test network like this. Say truffle exec scripts seed-exchange .js. We'll say -- network Kovan. All right, and I'll hit enter. Let's sit back and watch, and hopefully it works. All right, so token is fetched, exchange is fetched. We should see some action going on here. All right. Actually, while this is working, let's go over to our application and watch this happen in real time. So it deposited 1 Ether. All right, let's just wait. We're going to go to our app. We'll let this work and do its thing. Let's just make sure that the next action happens before we move on. All right, I said approve some tokens. We'll wait just a second. All right, so it looks like it's working. We can see some of this console log output here. We've made some orders, canceled orders. Now it's making more orders. While it's doing that, let's actually go to our app. So make sure you got your server running, and I'm gonna watch this kind of come in real time. So I'll go look here, and I'll change the network, right? All right, so we've already changed it to Kovan. Look, our app's connected to Kovan. We can see that I've got, Ether in the wallet and the exchange, and we're watching orders come in real time as they're created, right? So it's made the order. It's about to fill it probably. We'll watch it move from here to here. All right, let's wait for that to happen. Boom, it just happened. It's awesome. So as this script continues to run, we're going to start making more and more orders. And as the events are triggered on the blockchain, our order book's going to start filling up for us, right? We see the price chart has already started to populate. So this is pretty cool. So whenever you use this exchange, there you go, there's an order. So whenever you use this exchange for real with other people, you're going to see their orders populate the order book while you're watching it. You can see the real-time updates as they happen on the blockchain. Anytime they fill an order, it's going to, move to the trades. The candlestick chart's going to update. Look, there's another order. So we could fill this, as it's coming in. But yeah, that's really exciting. So I'm going to sit back and wait for the rest of these orders to fill our exchange and wait for these scripts to finish. All right, there we go. Our smart contracts have been deployed to the Kovan test network. You can see our script is finished, and we have, added all the data. Very cool. So there we go. We have our local app running connected to the Kovan test network.